Water is very necessary for our everyday life. As soon as we open our eyes, we need water. Every morning till 10 o'clock at night, water is very necessary. All the time we use the water.
This week on Nation's Business, we take a look at the measures taken by authorities to achieve the progressive realization of the right of every Fijian to have access to clean and safe drinking water. It goes without saying that water is the world's most precious commodity and the substance of all life. The improved access to clean water and in adequate quantities by everybody is one of the most basic of all social rights, yet one that has not been fully realized in the past. And in an unprecedented commitment, the Fijian government has enshrined this fundamental right in the Fijian constitution. Government is also pledging resources to see that every Fijian has access to clean, safe water sources.
In water, access to clean, safe drinking water is one of the most fundamental of social rights. Indeed, the Constitution guarantees access to this basic necessity for every Fijian. But for a country with such abundant rainfall and world-renowned natural springs, there are still too many Fijians who face a daily struggle to find clean water to drink. A concerted effort is needed to tackle this problem and to make sure that every person's constitutional right is protected.
With an allocation of $130 million from government for this year, the Water Authority of Fiji is now working around the clock to facilitate this constitutional requirement.
It's great that we have it in the Constitution, which means we also have perhaps the obligation as the agency to get that water to the people. And also as we work with government, because at the end of the day, government is the funding agency for this, for Water Authority. They'll know that they have to fulfill that part of the Constitution as well, and they'll have to channel the appropriate funds to do that infrastructure development. It just means more challenge for us, which is great. Without challenge, it becomes boring anyway. And we are committed, totally committed to fulfilling that part of the Constitution, that every citizen, and it must be world over, if the world hasn't taken cue from this, then they should. Every citizen must have access to safe drinking water.
And now, for the first time in decades, the focus has shifted to the development of water infrastructure, which has been the core problem, causing water woes in the past.
I think, the previous government's priorities were not so much focused on infrastructure development, and that led to a lot of frustration in the sector as well. They had good master plans. We just in the process of reviewing it and updating the master plans. If those master plans were implemented, we wouldn't be facing a lot of problems today. But I guess the priorities of previous governments were different. Whereas this government is really focused on infrastructure development.
The past 7-8 years, we can see some positive developments taking place. And people should realize that water is a very important commodity, and it is not so easy to handle like other infrastructures like communication or electricity, because we are here dealing with pressurized mains. So it's not like other water systems whereby we are not under pressure. The water system is always under pressure, and I think people should bear with us. It was the old infrastructure we are still carrying on with, and now as we see that a lot of developments are taking place. And in the next, I would say definitely in the next couple of years, we will definitely see a lot of improvements in the water supply systems here.
Over the recent years, the Water Authority has also aimed to improve its overall service delivery to all its customers.
One of the biggest challenges we faced when we got in here was the attitude and the mindset of people, because they were so used to that culture of doing things at their own pace. there was, I'm sorry to say this, but there was a lot of corrupt activities that we had to get rid of. Unfortunately, some people lost their jobs along the way because of that. But, while trying to fix all these external things, the pipes and all that, even the human resources, there's a big challenge in that area in terms of changing the mindset of people, becoming more customer focused. We drove that customer, at the end of the day, is king.
The recent water outages in the Suva-Nausori area was due to WAF refurbishing their newest water clarifier at the Waila treatment plant, where a total of $30 million has been budgeted for the upgrade. These improvements to infrastructure and overall service that has not gone unnoticed.
Over the years, the population in our area was not so much. Since there have been new subdivisions and there's a lot of new houses coming up, there have been new connections, but the main line was not upgraded. Now, since the main line has been upgraded, our water supply is very consistent, very good. Now we can have our shower in the bathroom with the shower. Before we have to fill the bucket and then bath. Now it's very good. Thank you very much, Water Authority.
It has been improving, especially we don't get a lot of cuts of water, but just lately, just a few days ago, that was during the weekend from Saturday to Sunday. I think that's about the third one at the most. I think it's for the maintenance of that's what they always announce, maintenance to clean up the tanks or whatever at Wailoko or somewhere that those treatment plants are. So I think which is more encouraging to know that they are looking after those necessities.
Chief Executive Officer Opetaya Rovai says all Water Authority staff know very well just how important the work they do is, adding that he and each and every customer of theirs have every right to demand nothing but the best in terms of service.
Because I tell them on a continuous basis is what we do directly impacts people's lives. Whether you are just a cleaner, or you're driving a vehicle, or you're the main engineer that's fixing a pipe. We are all related in delivering the service to the customer. And they must have that passion. If you come to work, I tell you, if you come to work and you've lost that passion, it's time for a new career. Right? If you've lost the passion to get water to people, to improve the quality of life of people, then it's time, you need a new challenge, or maybe you need a change in career. But as long as you work for Water Authority of Fiji, what you do directly impacts people's life, not indirectly, directly impacts their lives. Because without water, without good service, without good pressure, it's just a whole lot of inconvenience caused. And I'm sure you are aware of it, and you know this. You wake up and there's no water in the showers. It's just, the whole day is really started off badly.
The Waila water treatment plant is Fiji's largest and provides water to the majority of homes in the greater Suva and Nausori areas. Commissioned back in 1982, this plant has had to meet the demand from the increasing population over the decades, and it has come a long way in its 32 years of operation.
Now it has expanded to a capacity of 100 megaliters a day, and this is the largest water treatment plant in the country. And to cope up with the present high demand, so there is a lot of investments going on in Waila now, which we can see around, and the closure of the plant in the weekend to cope up with the development works. So there's a lot to do, and a lot already has happened in this plant, and just to meet the current high demands and to meet the set of national water, the drinking water standards. So we've got a standard which we have to follow. So those are the reasons for these refurbishment works going on.
Kamal Singh has been an engineer with the Water Authority for the past 36 years. That's well before the Waila treatment plant was even opened. And he says that a lot of work has gone into producing just 8 million litres of water per day to the 100 million litres that is now needed for the Suva-Nausori corridor. Refurbishment works here causing water outages recently.
And at that time it was only about 8 meg plant. 8 megaliters. Now See, we are treating about 100 megaliters a day, which is still we see is not enough for the people, the growing population of Suvarnasori. And definitely I would say we are looking in the right direction, and the Water Authority of Fiji now, with the current capital investments provided by the current regime, is very good to see that we have got a lot of capital investments done. And like this recent refurbishment of this plant itself here in Tamavua has cost us around $30 million. So that capital investment is now we can see that we are able to produce a better quality, and we have now room to expand production level. So definitely in the near future we can see that we will be producing more water.
Meanwhile, in the Western Division and other areas that have experienced intermittent water supply in the past years, work is now being done to ensure that this will soon be a thing of the past.
We still have in total around 64 areas around the country that have intermittent supply. Some 12 hours a day, some less than that. In some areas there's no water at all. People laid pipes there for some reason. We still cannot understand today why they laid pipes there, because hydraulically it's impossible to get water there. So they put in pipes, and now we have to cut water to them through trucks, which is also a costly exercise. But this year we are trying to fix those areas, especially Nandi, Nawaidamba area, which is a dry zone, we term it, because water cannot get there hydraulically. But we'll install things like pumps and reconfigure some of the supply zones so that water can get to Nawaidamba. These are some of the challenges we're facing existing, where we have customers with water meters, but we cannot supply 24/7. And there's a total of 64 areas, which equates to about 50 to 60,000 people in total that do not enjoy 24/7 supply like most of our customers.
The Water Authority of Fiji is also now making a commitment to protecting and preserving the environment. Government has this year provided the funds to ensure that wastewater be disposed of in a safe and environmental manner.
The wastewater side of things was neglected. We developed a lot of water infrastructure. We forgot about wastewater. We don't realize this water goes back and needs to be treated and sent back to the environment. And we are delighted. This year, I just read to you the amount of wastewater projects that government has given us. Again, we're delighted with this, and the people should be. $8 million just to fix the treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, unheard of. Never got this type of money before from government. $7 million to upgrade the wastewater distribution system, the pumps, the pipes. And this is why I'm saying this is there's a lot of catch up in that area too. It's a big infrastructure to the wastewater, and it's more expensive to treat wastewater than water. Because when wastewater comes to our plants, there's a lot of chemicals, a lot of toxic things that come with it as well.
Work is also being done in drafting a legislation to protect the environment in terms of wastewater disposal, especially industrial waste.
The industrial waste and all the factories and all the byproducts, most of them they dump it through our wastewater. And we have to treat it before it goes to the environment. And our plants are overloaded because of this. That is why we are trying to put in the trade waste policy, so that the industries and the factories, they must commit to putting pre-treatment devices, For example, a paint factory, all the byproduct of making that paint, these are very highly toxic chemicals that they just flush down, or that it goes down the gutter and enters into our sewer lines. And it affects the biological breakdown of the bacteria. If you have all these chemicals coming in.
Coming up in the next segment, we take a look at how the Water Authority of Fiji has teamed up with the other government ministries and stakeholders to ensure that Fijians living in rural areas and outer islands will be able to have access to clean and safe drinking water. For a people in a country with an abundance of rainfall and natural water springs, many Fijians have, in the past, never had access to clean water sources. All this is changing now, with government ministries and other partners assisting the Water Authority of Fiji in their rural water projects. Last year, a total of 72 communities and villages were assisted through this scheme.
That's the biggest number of projects we've done since Water Authority was established, and this was due to the fact that we did it in 3 months, from September, when we received the funding in September. The thing with our people is, I just like to thank them for their commitment. Some of them spent Christmas and New Year's in some of these islands, away from their families, just to get these projects completed. And we totally appreciate that commitment. This year we're doing close to 65 rural projects. 47 is funded by Water Authority, and the 1/10 contribution from the villages and the communities. And there's also 18 that are funded by through the Commissioner's funding.
One of these communities is Waiganake, just outside the capital. This particular rural water project was made possible through a partnership with the Lands Ministry, allocating an area in Veisari from the land bank, so communities such as Waiganake can access clean and safe drinking water.
The laying of pipes, water pipes, the main water pipes by Water Authority of Fiji, which runs through this land, which is now under the land bank. And that has greatly benefited the people in the Veisari area. In the past, you used to see when you travel either to Singatoka side or to Suva during the dry season. It's a common sight around in Veisari area where you see these water delivery trucks and the people coming with their buckets or drums, and they fill that. So a major contribution from government through our ministry is people to have access to water, and not only having access, but access to good, safe, high-quality water.
71-year-old resident of Waiganake, Mosese Vasikera, says up until just last month, they were largely dependent on the nearby creek.
Sa dinde sar na ngona kitundo malio tretuma ni aruna bokete kede tale vida na mbaki sa ngai ya tuma na tam na tangi sa rotore de no bokita bini sa wabu kitungo na tangi ni wai kimdo ngunu tunga na wenuda na ngona sa mada na tangi kimlistale yana bunu makawa kede tale vida na mbaki ya domando na tambani wai same banda bode tuna boibo ko sa wabu kitungo na loman koro dende bolanda kede tale vida na mbaki same ndabo mamartu.
All this will now be a thing of the past.
Ana bulang mach sangay mbasi ga may wenganak en loman koro wenganak na wai niu munu be na wai hebana kitungunu tigaliu ka munu be na wai Deme bana boibo e baka rikada na lomangu e baka marau ni rukute na woi ni boibo nanungu ngada.
Before I used to wake up in the morning, I came bath in this river, and now we have water supply at home, and I want to thank the government.
Na dini tumgo wimba se kitu se oyamba ki ono vitu kitu sa dola tangi chuki wimba o babi na ko boli bona tabani waini sa edorame na wena lumin kor babi na boli sa me de una tigi we chuki na tum a kime mi ngunu ngai vale
With 65 rural and outer island water projects planned for this year, the Water Authority says they will now work to get these completed in the shortest possible time.
There's a lot of rural projects. We've done most of the procurement. So we're going to start these projects, some of them next week. And then hopefully by June we complete the bulk of the projects. And one of our objectives this year is to complete all projects this year and for none to roll over to next year. Again, we are dependent on the weather as well and some of the challenges we face in in the islands, transporting of materials. But we are glad now through the government shipping services they are getting more vessels. I told the director, and it really helped us too because we'll be able to get the materials faster to the islands to construct these projects.
There's so much work already being done to ensure that every Fijian has access to a clean water source and in adequate quantities. And while the Water Authority of Fiji is making no promises about the short-term inconveniences, they can, however, promise one thing. And that is, all Fijians will have access to clean and safe drinking water with the investment that is being done now.
These upgrades we are doing will be on a continuous basis. Like I said, there's a lot of catch-up to do. There's a lot of upgrades needs to be done. These short-term inconveniences, we'll let you know beforehand so that you can store water. But please just be reminded that these are only the short-term inconvenience. The long-term sustainability of our system and the supply to our people, not only the current population but our future generations, is very, very important, and we need to do it now. We're already late in terms of getting this infrastructure up to speed. But we are totally committed, and we seek the patience of the people.